goodbye to open plan barnyard style classrooms. The Education Minister Erica Stanford announcing there will be no more open plan classrooms built, but some schools have already converted, and how do they get back? That's the problem we're looking at this morning. Steve Hargreaves is a Macleans College principal joining us. Steve, good morning.
Morning.
So you're happy with this decision?
This is a fantastic decision. We've actually battled against the ministry when we've had recent projects, property developments in school over the last few years, and we've been coerced by the ministry to try and build these open plan barn style classrooms, and we've pushed back, and fortunately we've won. So we have single cell classrooms throughout our school.
Were they trying to force them on you, the ministry?
Yes, that's been the sort of starting position for the ministry for quite a while. I remember going to a presentation about 12 or 13 years ago from the ministry about, this is where property is heading. And the presentation was led by architects, and it was a little bit worrying to hear that how we're going to work in schools was being dictated by architects. I actually think it was probably also driven by cost, because if you can build a big space that doesn't have interior walls, it's a lot cheaper.
Because Steve, I've been trying to work out for the best part of 24 hours now why the hell we did this in the first place. That might be the closest thing I think we've had to a real answer.
Well, there's usually something that sounds pretty seductive when these ideas are sold, and you say beginning teachers can learn from experienced teachers if they're teaching side by side, and kids can see the older kids working and model their behaviour off that. Good behaviour by the older students. That sounds really good. The reality is, of course, in class, you can't have somebody trying to teach calculus next to a group doing a test, or another group watching a video. It just all breaks down.
It's madness. And the fact that listening to Erica Stanford explain it yesterday, she said some schools are coping with it, doing the best they can by, they've got acoustic instruments to try and drown out the sound. They've got some kids learning literally learning on the floor, and others learning on tables, so that the acoustics are at different heights. I mean, that's madness.
It is madness. I mean, teachers and schools are pretty good at coping with, the resources we have. And I think that's what a lot of schools have done, is they've been handed these open plan classrooms, and they've just done their best to make it work. But now that there's an alternative on the table, and I know a lot of South Island schools have spent a lot of their own money, board money, putting walls back in, and good on them. I was interested to hear yesterday that Erica said schools have funding to do that. I haven't seen it. We do get a little allocation of money every 5 years for maintenance and upkeep, but it certainly won't be enough for schools to get walls back in their spaces.
She seemed to hint that maybe there would be more funding to come. Do you think it should be funded to reverse for those schools that have been forced to do it?
Yeah, I would say that's fair, isn't it? If we've decided now that this is where the research has led us back to the place where classrooms should have walls, and the expert who has the subject knowledge can lead the learning for a group of students in a single cell classroom, that's what works. That's what all the successful schools in New Zealand and overseas do. Then let's fund it and get on with it.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Steve Hargreaves, Macleans College principal, thanks so much for your time this morning.